actually going to show you a cool trick that Parcel can do for you. So we need to install a new client library to make requests against an API. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to say import animals like this from @frontendmasters /pet like that. Now, you and I have not installed this, right? This was not in our package.json. But Parcel is smart enough to say, oh, hey, this is out on the NPM registry. I'll just go grab it for you. So you don't even have to NPM install it. It'll just do it for you. So if you see here, if I say save, it's going to say installing frontend masters pet right there. And while it's installing, it'll rebuild the project, and now it's available to us on a project. Okay, so we installed this frontend masters pet. If you feel more comfortable, you can just say npm install @frontendmasters /pet. But you can also have Parcel just do it for you, which is kind of a fun feature that it does for you. And again, if you look in package.json, you can see that it installed it here, frontend masters pet, and saved that in there for us. Magical. Okay, so now we have this animals array, which is just going to array of strings, I believe. And here we're going to say const animal, comma, set animal equals use state, and we're going to start with a dog. Okay? Then we're going to go down and we're going to make, underneath our input here, another label. HTML4 equals animal. And inside of that, we're going to select animal. And we're going to put a select inside of that. So select ID equals animal. Value equals animal. On change equals e, and then set animal e.target.value. So I'm going to show you something pretty cool that we've done already. So it's saying, hey, if you're going to do on change, I need you to have on blur as well, because some screen readers, when you're tabbing across things, don't trigger on change events, which means that your code would not work when being used with the screen reader, which is obviously a big party foul, right? And I love that JSX Ally just catches that for you and says, like, I'm not going to let you go forward until you fix this, right? Obviously, like, this is so distracting to see so many red lines, I just can't even handle myself, right? So we can fix that by saying on blur equals e set animal e.target.value as well, right? And now it's all happy again because we fixed our accessibility issue. Okay, and then we're going to put a bunch of options in here of different breeds of or types of animals that we can search for. So the first one I'm going to put in here is just a blank option. This is going to represent like we'll search for all animals, right? I guess you could put in here as well something like this and put all as well. That's probably not a bad idea. And then here we're going to do curly braces, and we have an array of animals here, right? And we want to have one option for every animal in there. So what we have is a list of strings, and what we need back from it is a list of components, right? That makes sense? Like, we have a list of strings, and we want to turn those list of strings into a list of option components, or option tags, or whatever you want to call them. Well, luckily, there's something built directly into JavaScript that translates one array of things to another array of things, right? And it's called map. So if I say animals dot map, right, because it's an array, then you give it a function that takes an item in that array and transforms it into something else. So I'm going to take this string, right, or we'll just call it animal because that's what it is. And then we're going to have that return an option component. The value of that option component is going to be the animal, and also that it's going to display animal. Okay, you'll get a red line here for just a second, which we'll fix here in just one moment. So does this make sense? First of all, with arrow functions, you can have an implicit return, right? So in this particular case, I have the arrow function and I have no curly braces, which means it's implicitly returned. So this would be equivalent if I deleted this parenthesis and deleted this one, and I said return, like that. Those two things are the same, but because I have the parenthesis, which means continue on the next line, right? It's an implicit return. Does that make sense? So those two things that I show you are exactly the same. So now I'm going to have one option for every animal. And indeed, hopefully, if you go back and look over here, it's still upset, but you can see I have a list of various different options. Let's make this just a tiny bit bigger. So there's a barnyard, bird, cat, dog, horse, rabbit, scales, fins, other, and small furry, which are the type of animals that we're going to be able to search for across this API.